Hello, Facebook friends. Pastor John Rallison here from Journey of Life Lutheran Church. I was supposed to have an online Bible study at 12:30 today, and I ran into a difficulty that was based on my own assumptions. I have a friend, John Burhow, a member of our congregation, who had to have a pacemaker defibrillator implanted into his chest, and he's homebound, so I thought it would be fun to go do the Bible study from his house and have him join me, because we always laugh a lot and have a great time, and I thought it'd be great to welcome you all into that place with us as well. And I got to John's house, and as I pulled into the driveway, my phone told me that I was out of high-speed bandwidth on my mobile internet package. So I went in anyways, thinking that's no big deal because I'll just connect to Wi-Fi, and it turns out my 85-year-old friend doesn't have Wi-Fi. He's got a computer, but he doesn't have Wi-Fi, and so I tried to do it with my low bandwidth internet, and it wasn't happening. So I had to cancel. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Let me just double check my calendar before I make a firm commitment to that. Yes, tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. I am going to do my Facebook Live Bible study through Luke chapters 1 and 2. We're just going to walk through there and kind of pick it apart and learn what we can from it, besides the stuff that we've already learned about the difference between Mary and Zechariah's reaction to the angel. But I also wanted to offer you something else by way of something today that will be of value to you. As I'm looking around the internet, one of the things I ran across was a list, and you've seen these lists before, but they're always very good to review. This particular one was published in Forbes magazine, and it is the 25 biggest regrets in life. And so as we age, I think that one of the things we all want to do is live well. And we want to live in a way that we don't end up with a lot of regrets. I think we're all, anybody who's reasonably ambitious or just curious about life is gonna end up when they get older realizing that they couldn't fit everything into life that they wanted to do, as their body begins to tell them they can't do as much as they used to. But there are things we can do, decisions we can make now about how we approach life now that can minimize some of the regret that we might end up with later. Because some of these things are simply the way we encounter life day to day. So I want to read this to you just by way of reminding us all to think about our lives and how we're making our decisions, and some of the decisions we might want to change after we hear some of these things and reflect on them. So number one is a pretty standard one, but it's one we all need to hear over and over again. One of the regrets is working so much at the expense of family and friendships. Work calls on us a lot, and we say, well, we'll make it up to our family or whatever, and a lot of times that doesn't happen in the end. And so a lot of people, as they age, kind of regret working so much, not just the idea that they work so much, but that they made work a priority over their loved ones, over and beyond the expected time. So that's just something to bear in mind, to keep in mind. The second one has to do with standing up to bullies. A lot of people evidently have regrets. It seems that sometimes those things are times we don't speak up for ourselves and our values and our ideals and our desires because someone else of a forceful personality, whether or not they're even trying to be a bully, it still happens that we feel pressed down, some of us, and that's something people end up regretting a lot later in life, that we wish we would have been more forthcoming, more assertive about ourselves, our wants, our needs, our desires, and especially not let people bully us out of standing up for ourselves. Number 3 on this list, and this is a list from Forbes.com that I'm kind of walking through with you. If you had just joined us, I'm John Rallison, the pastor at Journey of Life Lutheran Church. We're going through a list of 25 things that people, older people, look back and regret as they age, and we're trying to learn from those and not have those regrets ourselves. So number 3 is a lot of people end up wishing they would have stayed in touch with some of their really good friends from childhood. Obviously, you can't keep in touch with everybody, but I'm telling you that if you have some close friends from childhood, they are gold is what they are. There's an old saying, I remember it from one of my kids' videos, make new friends and keep the old. One is silver and the other gold. And that's been true for me. I have some friends that I've been friends with since kindergarten. And we don't talk that much anymore, but when we do, it's one of those things where you're just still right there. In fact, 2 of my friends from kindergarten got married, so that's kind of fun. And I'm still in touch with both of them, even in a Facebook-y kind of way. The next one is turned off my phone or left my phone at home. We all get really caught up in the instant communication with people who are distant, but we do that at the expense of communication in the immediate sense with people who are in front of us. Or, and this I think is more true sometimes, because when we're with people, it seems natural to turn off the phone. But you need to be with yourself too. You need to be with yourself alone, and that involves turning off the phone as well. And so don't look back and say, wow, I didn't turn my phone off enough, I didn't leave it at home enough, or whatever. So that's something that people look back and find regret with. The next one on here is has to do with breaking up with my true love or getting dumped by them. I'm going to have to read that one and see what it says. Romance is a big area of regret for most of us. Maybe we dumped someone we wish you hadn't, or they dumped us, and we play a never-ending game of what might have been. Now that's true, that the what might have been, and whether or not it's love or anything else, it's the sense of if I would have done something different. Well, you can't, and any time you spend simply wallowing in what could have been is, I know that we occasionally need to grieve certain things if they're fresh and they're missed opportunities or whatever, but mostly if we wallow in that what might have been the rest of our lives, it steals the present joy that's available to us right now. And so, yes, you could take a moment and say, oh, maybe life would have been different if I wouldn't have done this or that, or maybe been better in this relationship so I didn't get left or left that person or whatever. But anything more than spending a moment of regret, especially, and if you spend that time regretting without trying to learn from it, it really is completely wasted time. Now, if you want to think through it and spend some time contemplating it and learn what you can from it, that is not wasted time. But any time you spend just wallowing in regret is really, it's just wasted time. And your life is ticking on, whether you like it or not. And all these things that I'm reading are the things that people who are at nearing the end of life ticking on, realizing that they shouldn't have done, and they used up that precious time, because everybody has exactly the same amount of minutes in a day, in a week, in their year. And once that minute is gone, it's gone. I'm doing a Facebook Live right now. Will I regret this however many minutes? I don't think so, because even though my primary purpose was to apologize for not pulling off my Bible study at 12:30, I also want to offer you some value because I want to have a sincere apology. And I just want to offer people things of value because I want people to have better lives. Again, if you're just joining us, my name is John Rallison. I'm the pastor of Journey of Life Lutheran Church, which our website is journeyoflife.org, and I'm reading through a list from Forbes of 25 things that people tend to have regrets around as they grow older. And it's a really good list, and it's worth listening to, so please hang with me if you're listening or watching. So number 6 is people end up regretting worrying about what others thought so much. Who was it? Somebody, I think it was Winston Churchill, who said, when we're young, we spend a lot of time worried about what others think. And in our middle ages, we quit worrying about what others think. And then as we get older, we realize that they were never thinking about us in the first place. It's so true. So true. So true. So all that stuff, all the time you spend thinking about what others might be thinking of you or whatever, people end up regretting that later in life. So think about that, fact that people end up regretting that, and maybe take that as a little bit of a gentle nudge to not spend so much time worrying about others' perception of you, because you can't, even if they are thinking about you, there's a good chance they're not thinking about you what you're thinking. They're thinking about you because more often than not, you're actually projecting your own stuff onto them. Like, for instance, Jesus said, "Do not judge and you will not be judged." And there's a psychological truth in there as well as all the other spiritual truths. And here's what happens is if you are walking through your life as a judgmental person, you are going to see other people as judgmental even when they're not. Because you're projecting that idea of the way people are onto them, when what's really going on is it's just the way you are. So that's, I got a little off track there. The thing that people regret is worrying too much about what other people think. And the little tangent there is that most of the time you don't even know what they're actually thinking anyways. You're just projecting your own stuff onto what you think they're thinking. So that's number 6. Number 7 is not having enough confidence in myself. That seems like that would be related to the idea of risk-taking and everything else. And being worried about what other people think. So maybe that's just kind of a different way to phrase that general idea of going for it, of not worrying about what other people think and taking the risk, taking the chance. Number 8, living the life that my parents wanted me to live instead of the one I wanted to. Which, of course, relates to that lack of confidence again, where, and I know people who are still kind of trying to follow the track that their parents always dreamed of for them. And you're not going to find happiness or peace that way. And you know what else is, a lot of us, we don't, and especially if you are living this way, there's a decent chance that you don't have that great a communication with your parents anyways. And so, again, you might have this idea of what you think they want you to be. And you're living according to that when, in reality, they're not actually thinking that anyways. But maybe they are. Maybe they are. Maybe you have, like, overbearing parents who are really wrapped up in you becoming the kind of person that they want to be able to say is their son or daughter, right? I mean, that's real. I'm a parent. I got 3 kids. And that's a real thing that can happen with us sometimes, parents. And so what this one is saying that it is as you grow up, continuing to try to live to meet your parents' expectations of the kind of child they wanted, especially, and this happens, your parents die and you're still trying to make them happy. And people regret that. People regret that kind of allowing themselves to be pressured into something else. It kind of relates to the self-confidence and the bullying and all that stuff. There's a lot in here that is going to end up revolving around of living out your core self or hiding your core self. There's a lot that's going to have to do with not having the confidence to live your core self out, right? So number 9 actually also wraps around that same kind of thing. Number 9 is that some people end up regretting not applying for or going after that dream job, I would add, or starting that company or writing that book or whatever it is that you always wanted. And that obviously doesn't always work out. How many books are half written, and how many fully written books are unpublished? Although I will tell you this, that if you do want to write a book, now is a great time to do it, because you don't actually have to have anybody approve your book at all, because you can go through electronic publishing. Here's a little side note, okay, a little side piece of information. You can publish for Amazon Kindle and Barnes & Noble Nook, I assume, too, without asking anybody's permission at all. You just like write the book and publish it. And furthermore, now they have a thing called print on demand, in case you don't know about this. Print on demand means you can upload the electronic file of your book to this printing company, and they will print individual books as they are ordered. The one that works with Amazon is called CreateSpace. So you upload your file and your cover art and everything to CreateSpace, and then Amazon hooks that up and says, well, whatever Joe's book, you can buy it for Kindle or you can buy it in print. And then if they click on Amazon, they click buy in print, buy the printed version, then CreateSpace prints one copy of that book and sends it off to whoever bought Joe's book, and you get money for your book. So, especially if your idea is to write a book, just write the book! Write the book! but more than that, a lot of people go after their dreams. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they don't. But what we hear is that a lot of people regret not even trying. That's the thing. They regret not even trying. So that's that. Again, just for those of you who might have joined late, my name is John Rallison. I'm the pastor at Journey of Life Lutheran Church. Our website is www.journeyoflife.org, and I'm glad you're here with us today. Number 10 is wish I would have been more happy, not taking life so seriously. Yeah. So, we have a lot of, as humans, we are privileged. Not only can we think, it appears a lot of animals think on various levels, right? Dolphins and elephants and all those kind of things, right? But we have the ability to think abstractly. And one of the things we can think about is we have the privilege of being able to think about how we are thinking. So you could actually step outside your, in your own imagination, you can step outside your head and think about how you are thinking about things. This is very powerful, very powerful. And these people are saying that they wish they would have just been a little happier. They were worried about a lot of stuff, and they missed out on a lot of happiness and joy and fun in their lives simply because they didn't just choose to be happier. They wish they would have not taken life so seriously, because guess what? You're gonna, like we talked about before, the seconds are ticking, the minutes are going by, and they're gonna go by no matter what. And whether or not you let them go by in anxiety and worry, or you let them go by with a sense of live and let live, and just choosing sort of a happier attitude in a sense that everything will work out. The minutes are going to tick by either way. Only thing that's going to change is whether or not you're enjoying the minutes or not. So these people get to the end and near the end, and they wish they would have been happier more, not taking life so seriously. That doesn't mean don't take things seriously. I think it means more don't take yourself so seriously. There's certainly many things in our world that need to be taken seriously. But maybe you need to take yourself a little more lightly. So that's number 10. Scrolling down along, number 11, wish you would have gone on more trips with family and friends. That one might, I might have to think about that one myself. Most folks stay home, close to home. They don't travel much, but trips are where a lot of life's memories, I'm kind of giving you their thing on this one. Trips are where a lot of life's memories are made. It throws us together in unfamiliar and unpredictable situations, and some of those unpredictable situations turn out to be the greatest memories that you'll ever have. I certainly was out with some friends 4x and out in the mountains in California, and we high centered on a log. I can't tell you about how many different trips or what we did in my Jeep, all the different times, but I can remember high centering on that log really clearly because a couple of the people in the car had never been off-roading before, and so our cars just go, you know, it's up on the log like this, and I'm hitting the accelerator, and it's just going, and it's four-wheel drive, right? So it doesn't get stuck very easily. But if you get up on a log, so your wheels can't get traction, then you're stuck. And they're like, they're laughing, but they're a little bit panicked too. And you know, what do? Well, you just got to figure out a way to get some traction under those tires or dig out from under the log. And we got out. Obviously, I'm here now. But, excuse me. So going on trips, because it creates those memories, and even the unpredictable circumstances sometimes are the best ones, the most memories, and you know that. Number 12, letting my marriage break down. Yeah, boy, I'll tell you what, I can speak more to the masculine side, I think. No surprise. One of the ways that guys, we fall in love with a girl and we pursue her, and so she's the object of our pursuit, and then we get her, and we marry her, and then we move on to another object of our pursuit. What happens to the wife who had all this attention and energy devoted to her, and then she made the commitment that you were trying to win her into making, and then she thinks she like turned into a different guy, and you're like, no, I'm the same guy, I'm a pursuer, and I got you, and now I'm pursuing my career. And that really, obviously, there's a million different things that go on with problems in marriages. But I think the core thing actually kind of hits my heart, letting my marriage break down. You know, if you sense your marriage is not going well, there is a lot you can do about it. My last series of blogs, I'm still in the middle of it, is from a book by Dr. John Gottman, 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. He studies couples in labs, and he's just really got awesome things to say. 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by Dr. John Gottman. You can get my blog posts, which summarize each chapter up to whatever chapter I'm on now, on my website, my personal one, johnrallison.com, where my blog is. And so that's that. Let's keep going here. Don't let your marriage break down. If things start getting wobbly, that's like saying, well, you know what, my tire's low. I'm just going to keep driving until it goes flat, and then I'll just keep driving until the rubber wears off, and I'm just going to keep driving. That's what letting your marriage break down is like. It's like hearing something, feeling something jiggle in your car, and saying, I'm going to ignore it and keep driving and just hope it gets better. It's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. So, let's see. Okay, number 13. Taught my kids to do more stuff. I'm feeling this one a little bit. Taught my kids to do more stuff. I love my kids. I love having fun with my kids. But I feel like I have an 18, 15, and a 9-year-old. And I feel like I wasn't as intentional with my oldest as I would have liked to have been in terms of just teaching her all about things in life. So I've actually kind of switched that around a little bit with my other kids, and I like how it feels for me. So if you have kids, don't just I mean, everybody says you got to enjoy them. You got to enjoy them. Well, fair enough, but they're your kids, and you have to teach them too. So a lot of people grow up evidently regretting not teaching their kids more, and I think I might be a little bit in that. Although I have great relationships with all my kids. Let's see. Number 14 is people regret not burying the hatchet with old family members or old friends. Not just reconciling relationships. You get to the end of your life and you're like, it's like the Hatfields and the McCoys, feuding, and it's like they've been feuding for generations and nobody even knows what they're fighting about anymore. How'd this thing... this started when somebody, knocked somebody else's coffee off the table or something. And then... So people, as they get older, tend to regret not mending the relationships. That's what that would be. Not mending the relationships. So if you have relationships with people that are or were important to you, maybe you're not sitting there, so you're just saying, well, they're not important to me now, but they were. Try to mend the relationship. You won't regret trying. Here's what's going to happen. If you try to mend the relationship, and I don't mean calling them obviously is part of it, but for some things you might have to untangle some things, and that can take time. But here's the thing. You won't regret trying. You will not regret trying. But here's what trying will do. Trying to mend those relationships. Here's what it will do. It will free you from later regret. So, because here's what happens. Say you try to mend your relationship with, Bob or whatever, whoever, and it works out. Well, that's awesome, isn't it? Because Bob, you've known Bob since you were 7, maybe, or maybe Bob's your brother, or somebody's really important to you, and you actually managed to sort of untangle all the stuff that had built up over the years, and you renew that friendship, and that's awesome. Let's say you don't. When you get older, what does that mean? That means that you tried, and it didn't work. But at least you tried, and so you don't have to live with regret number 14, not trying to reconcile those relationships. Number 15 is trusting the voice in the back of my head more. Yeah, that's from a Christian perspective, we would often think of that as the Holy Spirit, but we certainly also simply have little hints in the back of our heads that kind of guide us from an intuitive perspective about what might be right for us. Of course, you've got to do analysis, pro-con lists, and all that stuff, but there's also the little voice in the back of your head that will tell you whether or not something is right for you. And people evidently, as they get older, a lot of them regret not trusting their inner self, their intuition about what's right. And that involves turning off the phone. It involves being in touch with yourself, which we talked about before too. So number 16 is another romance one, not asking that girl or boy out. Again, it's another risk-taking thing. It's another self-confidence thing. It's another stepping out with your own desires and feelings and goals and taking a risk and just putting it out there. That's one of the things a lot of these things have to do with is people regret not putting it out there. They just live like this instead of like this. And they regret that in the end. And so this is your chance to not live like this, but instead to live like this. And in the case of number 16, maybe it's asking that girl or boy out. So that's number 16. Next page, and while I'm doing that, I will remind those of you who have joined us that we are going through the 25 biggest regrets in life, according to this Forbes magazine article. And my name is John Rallison. I'm the pastor at Journey of Life Within Church, and I'm doing this in part as an apology for not being able to pull off my 12:30 Bible study today, my Facebook Live Bible study on Luke chapters 1 and 2 that I intended to have, but did not have because I had some difficulties. So, our church's website is journeyoflife.org. My website is johnrallison.com. And number 17 on this list is people regret getting involved with the wrong group of friends when they are younger. Listen, we are all subject to peer pressure. We are all subject to the influence of those around us. And so one of the choices we can make intentionally is the kind of people we want to hang around with. And evidently there was enough people who responded with this that it's a regret for a lot of people that they got involved with the wrong group of people early on. And, that doesn't mean they didn't get out of it. I mean, not every one of these people is like in a drug rehab or something, right? But sometimes you get involved with a group of people who maybe they just don't want to accomplish anything. Maybe they're just, whatever. They're not the kind of people that in the end you want to hang around. And, again, it's wasted time. It comes down to very few things. It's living like this instead of like this, and it's remembering every moment and not wasting those moments. So number 18, number 18, not getting that high school or college degree is another thing that people regret, not getting that education. And fair enough. What can you say? the degrees can help. They obviously don't guarantee anything, but they do open doors. I have a relative who is possibly the smartest person I know. I mean, I know a few really, really smart people. He may not be the smartest person I know, but he's really one of the smartest people I know. And he did not finish his college degree, and he really had trouble getting a job that he liked without that college degree. He went back and finished it now as a middle-aged man, but boy, not finishing that degree, and he is just sharp. He's so smart. So people regret not getting that education. It also says here, it says some of the people said it made them feel insecure, like they were going to be found out as imposters or something. Number 19, again, it's another one of these living like this instead of out in the open. People regret choosing the practical job instead of the one I really wanted. They are, yeah, let's see. Everybody's being pushed to be scientists and engineers. But in the end, it's your life. Here's what they say, and yeah, they regret choosing a practical job over one they really love. Now, on the converse, we push higher education, everything, which is great. Nothing wrong. I'm not dissing higher education. I myself have indulged in higher education, but we need plumbers, we need electricians, we need people to build houses and roads and buildings. And one of the things I think with our college culture is that we have denigrated the trades, the people who practice and perfect the trade craft. Listen, if you've ever tried plumbing, it's not easy. And a good plumber is a very valuable asset to have the phone number of a good plumber at a reasonable price. Choosing the practical job over the one I really love might be going to college instead of going to trade school, when what you really want to do is build furniture, or what you really want to do is build houses, and what your real choice is to go learn a trade instead of go to college. Either way, so that practical versus one I love can go either direction. Number 20, people regret not spending time with more time with their kids. And there was, for a while, there was a movement about quality time, but kids don't perceive that. They want quantity as well. And evidently a lot of people get older and regret not spending as much time with their kids as they would like. So take that one to heart. Okay, I think we're on the last one. Here it is. Nope, we're not. Not taking care of my health when I had the chance. People regret not taking care of their health when they have a chance. Okay, so I totally get that, but you always have a chance. There's a website called nutritionfacts.org. nutritionfacts.org. There's no dashes or underscores or anything. And if you go there, what you will find out is that a lot of our chronic degenerative diseases can not only be halted, but reversed through the right combination of mostly diet. I mean, we all need exercise. Our bodies are made to move, but diet is a huge, is maybe the major factor. And you can even reverse. And when I was growing up, I didn't know this. It wasn't known to be true. But you can reverse even things like heart disease. So it's amazing. People regret not taking care of their health when they had the chance. So do it now. Do it today. I might do a blog post or a Facebook Live or something on that, because I recently, like within the last 2 or 3 years, have really altered the way I'm treating my body, and it's felt great. It just feels so good. And I might talk about that and the trials of that and everything, and to encourage you to do that. But right now, just know that and I know you need to eat better and exercise. You just do, okay? Mostly, depending on who you are, obviously. And people grow old and regret not taking care of their health when they have the chance. So now's your chance. Do it. Number 22. Okay, there's 25, right? So we got 4 more. Again, I'm John Rallison, the pastor of Journey of Life Lutheran Church. Our website is journeyoflife.org. We're in the Lake Nona area of Orlando, Florida. My personal website is johnrallison.com. The last few blog posts have been on the 7 principles for having a great marriage. That's not exactly what it's called. 7 principles for a healthy marriage, I think. Can't remember exactly. By Dr. John Gottman. And I encourage you to look at that. Number 22, not having the courage to get up and talk at a funeral or an important event. Boy, there's a kind of a double thing there. There's the fear of public speaking, and there's also the fear of, again, it's this kind of living instead of this kind of living. Although in terms of the funeral, you're kind of afraid that the emotions are kind of, oh boy, funerals, really sometimes the emotions come out really strongly and uncontrollably. So certainly understand that, but people who were asked said they regret not having the courage to get up and talk, whether it's at a funeral or some other important event. So take the opportunity. So much of life is getting over the initial hesitation. So much of life is just stepping out of the front door of whatever it is. If it's talking, then it's just like standing up or raising your hand and saying, I'd like to say a couple things. And you open your mouth and stuff comes out. Stuff comes out. And the more you do it, the more you find that if you just take the first step, your body, your mind, the universe, the Holy Spirit, however you want to say it, responds and brings things there. And so you'll be glad. But you have to have the courage to take that first step, to raise your hand, whatever. Okay. So people regret not having the courage to get up and talk at a funeral or important event. Number 23, not visiting a dying friend before he died. People regret not visiting a dying friend before he died. I almost had this happen to me. It was with my grandfather. In fact, I told this story in my sermon last Sunday. My grandfather, I live in Orlando, Florida, and my grandfather lives in Riverside, California, or did. And he was getting sicker and sicker, and my mom called me to say that he was non-responsive. They had basically decided to discontinue all sustenance. He was non-responsive on his bed at home, and the hospice nurse thought he probably had a few hours. And I'm in Orlando, and and I love my grandpa, and I didn't know if I could call him. I just didn't know if I had it in me to be able to talk on the phone to a non-responsive person. I'm not proud of this, but I thought, and he's going to be dead in a few hours, and then I won't have this decision to make anymore. And I called. I don't know if I called this friend, Connie's her name, or if we were talking about something else, and I told her what was going on. But she encouraged me. I feel like double shame just because I'm a person and I should call, and he's my grandpa and I should call, and I'm a pastor and I don't want to call, right? But she said, just call him. You'll be okay. You will really regret it if you don't. That's what she said. I think that's what she said. You'll really regret it if you don't. And I did. And I don't regret for a second that I called. It turned out he lived for several more days, and I called him 2 or 3 more times too. And his wife told me that he seemed to respond just a little bit, the kind of things non-responsive people do, just a little twitch or motion or whatever. But yeah, so I called him, and it was the right thing to do. And if you have someone who's dying, a loved one who's dying, visit or call them, connect with them, because the minutes are ticking, and once they're gone, there's no way back. There's no undoing that, and you're just going to live with it. So call them. Just call them. Go visit them. Okay? Some people says here, number 24 says they regret not learning another language. Not learning another language. Yo hablo español un poquito. But not much. And I would like to, I always feel a little bit, Orlando is such a bilingual place. And I always feel, kind of, I don't know what the right word is, like unequipped or something. When I know many bilingual people, and they just switch fluidly from Spanish to English. I just feel, what's the word? What's the word for what I feel? Inadequate almost. I just feel like, wow, I feel like, wow, I need to learn that language better or something. So maybe I have a little bit of this going on in me too. But a lot of people regret not learning another language. And number 25, last one, is they regret not being a better mother or father. Yeah. Not being a better mother, boy, that can be a toughie, because what does that mean, right? We talk about this a lot with people, including my spouse. Every single kid is different, right? We have 3 kids. You'd think, at least if you have 1 kid, then you'd kind of make all your mistakes on the first kid and you get the other 2 right. But no, each kid is different. Every single kid is a one-off, unique work of God's art and requires a different approach and different strategies, and every single relationship is different. But I'm going to tell you something. You'll be okay with it if you live self-aware and you love on your kids. It's going to be okay. You're going to make a ton of mistakes. It's going to be so horrible. No, it's not going to be horrible. It's going to be great. It's going to be a mixture. You're going to have the highest highs and lowest lows of ever having kids. But what I will tell you is, at the end of the day, if your kids know that you love them, and I mean express it, I mean both live it and express it, tell them, I love you so much, that you are so important to me, and then live it by attending their plays and whatever, and just, showering with praise when they do well, and having the courage to discipline them. They don't mind that. That's not a bad thing when they're bad. But the biggest thing is when they know that you love them, when they know that you are ultimately in their corner, even when you make mistakes, it's going to be okay. Every parent makes basket loads of mistakes. And yet, my experience from my own parents, I love you, Mom and Dad. Actually, I love Dad's in heaven. Mom's still here. Love you. But what I always knew about my parents, whether or not it was a good parenting day or a bad parenting day, was they loved me. And they were there for me. And that made all the difference. So communicate. Not just communicate verbally, even your love for your kids. So I don't even know how long this thing has gone on, but it's been great. My name is John Rallison. We have been walking through 25 things people regret later in life from a magazine article by Forbes. I was sharing this with you just because it's great. We should really be thinking about these kind of things if we want to not have those same regrets, right? But also, I intended to have a Bible study, Facebook Live Bible study at 12:30, and I had difficulties and didn't get that done. So I also wanted to share something very valuable for anybody who wanted to watch, by way of apologizing sincerely for not having that Bible study. Our church's website is journeyoflife.org. My website is johnrallison.org, JohnRallison.org. That's where my blog is. And, yeah, that's about it. If you are so inclined to go to journeyoflife.org and help us out with a donation, that would be great. We're having a year-end fund drive, and there's a place to click. PayPal Giving Fund, by the way, actually adds, not only do they not charge for processing your check card or credit card, but they are adding 1%. So if you do, and this is not, I don't know, if you feel like supporting us and helping us with our year-end fund drive, Journey of Life will receive 101% of your donation amount. So if you could help us out, that'd be great too. Anyway, I'm John Rallison again. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.